Tonight, putting up the barricades. Calls to blockade the Great Ocean Road as coastal communities tell would-be holidaymakers to stay away. Police pleading for a mystery mother to come forward after the tragic discovery of a newborn's body in Melbourne South. George Pell settling into life outside prison once more after arriving at a Sydney seminary. Winch to safety, a lone yachtsman's Bass Strait plans end in a daring police rescue off Portsea. And it's Easter, but not as we know it. We'll have all the details on the changes Victoria faces for a long weekend in lockdown.
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Jennifer Keyte.
Good evening. First, there are calls for some of Victoria's favourite holiday hotspots to be blockaded by police to keep tourists and coronavirus out this Easter long weekend. Coastal communities want the Great Ocean Road to be shut down, saying visitors are not welcome.
A stunning day on the Surf Coast, but where local hospitality is concerned, the tide is out.
I'd certainly be keen for them not to come down.
I know it's lovely here and we have it to ourselves. We love it that way. No, but I think seriously, stay home.
The local senator wants police roadblocks to keep Easter travellers out.
But a roadblock would make a difference. It would mean that they could stop anyone travelling down the Great Ocean Road, check that it was for a legitimate reason, and then, of course, fine anyone and turn them around.
Back in Melbourne, police ruled that out.
Putting up roadblocks, it's not what the Chief Health Officer has asked us.
But that doesn't mean lockdown rules won't be enforced.
Don't be travelling from Melbourne to Lawn to surf. That's inappropriate. If you're in that local region, you can, if the beach is open and the council is allowing it, do that.
In the past day, police have fined another 78 people for breaching the rules.
That when they're giving out those infringements, it's for three types. It's deliberate, it's blatant and it's obvious.
But surprisingly for police, quiet roads has not translated to safer roads.
The state's road toll for the year to date is 76. The average for the past 5 years was 71. So the mass exodus from the roads due to coronavirus has seemingly done little to curb the amount of deaths on the state's roads.
We've had 18 deaths since the state of emergency was declared.
Yet another reason, if one were needed, to do the right thing.
Just stay home like everyone else.
Simon Love for 10 News First.
And Simon Love joins us live now. Simon, disappointingly, some criminal types have been taking advantage of the lockdown.
Yeah, well, the flip side of so many people working from home, Jen, is that so many commercial buildings here in the city have essentially been empty. So police have been keeping a close watch on that. They've just in the past hour released details of an operation they dubbed Night Watch and have revealed 54 people have been arrested for a range of offences, including burglaries inside some of the commercial buildings here in the city, namely in Little Bourke Street as well, Lygon Street and Carlton, or other areas include Altona and Brunswick. And while they were catching some of those people out in some of the commercial buildings, police also, Jen, fined 110 people for breaching the coronavirus restrictions.
OK, thank you very much, Simon. Well, the news from our top health officials seems to be getting better each day. For the first time in 3 weeks, the daily number of new coronavirus cases has slipped below 100.
In the nation's gruelling fight against COVID-19,
The curve continues to flatten.
the Health Minister says we're winning.
This is the first time in over 3 weeks that fewer than 100 people have been added to the list of those with coronavirus.
The number of confirmed cases, lives lost and hospital admissions all tracking the right way.
All of those numbers are down from where they have been at their peak. That's an exceptionally important development for Australia.
We've also arranged flights to bring stranded Australians home.
To Peru, Argentina and South Africa. Those planned Qantas flights which are anticipated to take place over the next week.
Initially from 3 countries, but possibly more to come.
The lack of support and regard that we've been given only up until recently.
But those who are still overseas are being reminded not to rely on the government's help in getting back.
If you want to come home now by whatever means possible.
One of the nation's top doctors has assured we now have enough ventilators to cope with an influx of cases, with a target of 7,500, nearly triple the number before the pandemic. And the government says we're also making gains in addressing the shortage of qualified staff to operate them.
We have had over 12,000 registered nurses enrol in our online upskilling to enable them to manage critically unwell patients.
Modelling based on Australian figures to be released in the coming weeks could be more good news.
That will be one of the contextual elements that allows us to determine which restrictions to lift and in what order to do so.
But
we've got a long way to go.
And this Easter weekend could determine how quickly life returns to normal.
The virus does not take a holiday. Therefore, none of us can relax in what we do.
The only relaxing should be at home. Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
For most of us, the crisis has turned traditional Easter plans on their head. The long weekend is usually a time for families to get together, but that's all changed as we isolate, forcing everyone to rethink how they celebrate.
Opa, yes please. Who's going to buy yes please?
A for effort and optimism on a day that flies in the face of every Easter shopping spree we've ever known.
There's usually hundreds of people just lining up for fish.
But today, there's plenty more fish on the shelf.
Look, everything's upside down, but we're trying to balance it.
Many customers at Queen Vic and South Melbourne markets were taking no chances and getting in and out as quickly as possible.
And we pre-ordered all of our seafood.
The longest queues were people waiting to enter the markets as security cracked down on social distancing.
A bit nervous, but it's just, as long as everyone does the right thing, I think it'll be okay.
Just a few weeks ago, our news crew was here filming everyone who was bulk buying. It was jam-packed. You couldn't move an inch without touching someone. And now, ahead of the busiest holiday weekend of the year, you have all the room in the world.
Major supermarkets were also slow. They're closed for Good Friday but open the rest of the long weekend. Churches are using Facebook to keep the faith, live streaming Good Friday and Easter Sunday. In a world that's been turned upside down by a virus we can't see, there's never been a better time to eat chocolate.
You can socially distance and emotionally eat at the same time.
Coco Black has joined Deliveroo for those who don't want to venture beyond the home.
Online's booming. Our factory and warehouse is working day and night just trying to keep up with all the orders and get them out this week.
But the big question is, will the Easter Bunny roll the dice with COVID-19 travel restrictions?
What are we leaving out? A carrot and a glass of milk.
A glass of milk.
And if he doesn't come this year, we'll be furious. Yeah, absolutely furious.
Surely he knows the best thing to give quarantined children is a sugar hit. Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
And this is the current state of infection across Australia. The number of confirmed cases of the virus now stands at 6,105. There has again been a rise in New South Wales, with more than 2,773 cases. Here in Victoria, the number of people diagnosed with the illness has reached 1,228, an increase of 16 overnight. 50 patients are being treated in hospital, but 806 people have recovered. To other news now, and a tragic set of circumstances with police searching for a mother after the remains of a newborn baby girl were found on a bayside beach. The body may have been there for days before a passerby made the grim discovery.
A quiet beachfront tainted by tragedy. Seaford residents were left in shock after the body of a newborn baby was found by a passerby.
Being straight across the road from me, it was a bit hard. Didn't stop thinking about it all night.
The tiny girl was discovered alone late yesterday, the umbilical cord and placenta still attached.
It's terrifying. I couldn't even put it into words how it makes you feel.
Oh, it's just terrific. We've just walked down here to pay our respects, so yeah, it's horrible.
Police believe the baby died in the past 3 to 10 days. It's not clear whether she was born on the beach.
The homicide squad is looking into the matter. It's an active investigation. We haven't yet identified any persons involved, and it's still ongoing. Obviously, the forensic examination still needs to occur.
Homicide detectives, forensic investigators and the SES spent 5 hours searching for evidence. They hold serious concerns for the health and welfare of the baby's mother.
I only saw a young couple coming out last night, but I'm assuming they're the couple that found the body.
This part of the beach was closed yesterday when the grim discovery was made due to COVID-19 restrictions and public distancing measures. Police had to use this trail to access the crime scene. Anyone with information should contact police. Jade Keyte for 10 News First.
Cardinal George Pell has remained within the grounds of a Catholic seminary in Sydney after his release from Barwon Prison this week. National Affairs editor Hugh Riminton filed this report.
Well, I'm being told George Pell is not short of options. He arrived here at the Good Shepherd Seminary last night in Sydney after the long drive north from Melbourne. He remains, of course, a divisive figure both in the Catholic Church and in the broader community. But I'm being told by senior Catholics today not to underestimate how high his standing remains, particularly among conservative Catholics. Don't forget, this was a man who got to number 3 in the church hierarchy. He was in charge of the Vatican's finances. I'm being told today there is little prospect he will get at the age of 78 that job back again. But he does have a PhD from Oxford University. He go to one of the Catholic colleges there in Britain, perhaps to the Australian Catholic University, where he has strong support. And don't forget, I'm being told, that there is a strong body of conservative Catholics in the United States, and many of them see him as a martyred figure because of his time in jail on those charges. Around here in this neighbourhood, there's a range of views about him being in their streets.
Where else is he going to live? He can't live on the streets, and he doesn't want to live in Melbourne, apparently, so he's come to a quieter area.
And I'm happy to hear that he's free and he can live a happy life now.
We're not real happy at all, and I've never seen him only on the news. So yeah, that's as close as I really want to get to him.
Well, one senior Catholic figure told me today that whatever job he might take up from here, or even if he takes up no official post at all, he will remain a player. If Pope Francis, for example, was to die any time in the next few years, then such is George Pell's standing still among conservatives in the church that he's likely to be a figure lobbying for the next pope to be a more conservative figure. There is one other element in play, of course, and that is the remaining still censored elements of the Royal Commission report, those pages of that report that deal with George Pell when he was an active churchman here in Australia. The Attorney General, Christian Porter, is consulting to see if he can release those pages of that report. I'm being told today that he is taking only legal soundings on that point. He is not interested in the views of politicians and certainly not interested in the views of the Catholic Church itself.
Hugh Riminton reporting. Police have carried out a daring rescue to save a yachtsman who ran into trouble at the Port Phillip Heads. The 67-year-old was attempting to sail from Melbourne to Tasmania, but should never have been out on the water.
After dark and against curfew, taking up vital police resources when he shouldn't have been out at all. 7 p.m. last night, a 67-year-old Tasmanian man had attempted to enter Port Phillip Bay, but his 28-foot yacht ran aground near Portsea. He put out a mayday call, but dangerous conditions meant Water Police nor the Coast Guard could reach him.
Because it was about 400 metres out to sea on the reef and it was hard stuck.
They were forced to call in Polair, but even that proved difficult due to the yacht's large sail. Eventually, the man had to jump into the water before he could be winched to safety.
It was quite hazardous, as a night winch for Polair is a difficult circumstance in any stretch.
He was taken to hospital with mild hypothermia, but has since been released. It's not clear why the yachtsman was out at sea. Police say they received mixed reports as to whether he was trying to return home to Tasmania or was just out for fun. Either way, it's likely he'll be charged under the government's Stage 3 lockdown laws.
Easter is traditionally one of the busiest times for Water Police as they're out in force to make sure boaters are adhering to the rules. Now, this weekend won't be any different, except that those rules are that no one should be out at all.
The Chief Health Officer has stated that there are only 4 reasons to be out and that boating is not one of them.
The Tasmanian man will have to foot the bill for the yacht's recovery, which is expected to be in the thousands. Georgia Love for 10 News First.
Well, now here's Stephen previewing sport, and homesickness could claim a star bomber.
Yes, Jen, Conor McKenna says he'll be heading home to Ireland sooner rather than later. How footy's brave new world may look post-coronavirus. The NRL at war over broadcast rights. And our new man asks the hard question. What actually happened at the Blues' infamous wedding?
Thanks, Stephen. Coming up in 10 News First, why police could face criminal charges over a tragic death in custody case, and much-needed medical protection equipment lands in Australia from a very unlikely source.
MasterChef.
It's back, it's better, it's beautiful.
The most exciting season ever.
Feel-good TV at its best.
Mind-blowing food from day one.
Inspiring, extraordinary.
One of the best seasons in the history of this competition.
It's the heart and soul Australia needs right now.
It begins with the best opening episode in MasterChef history.
Have a good one, mate. Oh, and have you told Tim he's not invited to your wedding?
Okay, wait.
What? Wedding?
I don't want you to take this personally, but, you know, my sister's going to be there. I know you didn't mean to spill Nan's ashes into the pool, mate. Mum was cleaning out that pool filter for weeks.
Really?
Granddad's terrified of the pool now, so it's probably best you sit this one out.
That makes total sense.
Good on you, mate.
Handle any situation in a Ranger FX4.
Hey Les, every day at The Good Guys. Online offer up to $100 store credit on selected portable appliances. This DeLonghi coffee machine $7.99. This air fryer $4.29. This DeLonghi coffee machine $8.88. Only at The Good Guys.
Keep things light and airy with delicious Smith's Poppables. Thanks for sharing finally. One pop and you're in love.
Group 1 racing is at its best on day 2 of the championships. Get 10 bet returns this Saturday to use on any track, any race. So if your horse runs second or third, get your bet returned in bonus bets. Bet easy. Raise your game.
Dale turned his super into our top-rated account-based pension and now receives regular fortnightly payments while the rest of his super stays invested and keeps working hard for him. It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours.
With Ryobi One Plus U equals anything you can imagine. In fact, one battery powers over 100 tools. So One Plus U equals endless possibilities. Blower kit, $1.99, available at Bunnings Warehouse.
The King Living Sale is on now. The biggest online sale event featuring the best in Australian furniture design. So why buy ordinary furniture when you can stay home with King Furniture? The King Living Sale, online, on now.
Share your lockdown with the Goggle Boxes.
Hooray! I love this show. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Tonight on 10.
This is 10 News First. Police could face criminal charges over an Aboriginal grandmother's death in custody. A coroner's referred the case for further investigation, describing the tragedy as clearly preventable. And a warning, some may find images in this story confronting.
Tanya Day spent about 5 hours in a police cell and hit her head at least 5 times. The blows left her with a severe brain injury that ultimately caused her death. The coroner has found the 2 police officers on duty should face further investigation over possible criminal negligence.
Ms Day's death was clearly preventable had she not been arrested and taken into custody.
This is a historic day for Aboriginal people in this country and a bittersweet day for our family.
The 55-year-old was arrested for being drunk in public on a V-Line train and taken to the Castlemaine police station in December 2017. She had a blood alcohol reading of at least 0.3%. CCTV aired during the inquest showed officers did check on Ms Day, but some welfare checks lasted mere seconds because they said they wanted her to sleep it off. The coroner found the police failed to follow guidelines and should have sought medical help sooner.
As a result of their non-compliance, neither Sergeant Neal nor Leading Senior Constable Walters took proper care of Ms Day's safety, security, health and welfare as required.
Paramedics were eventually called, but Miss Day died in hospital 17 days later.
Totality of the evidence inclines me to assenting to a belief that an indictable offence may have been committed.
Since Ms Day's death, the Andrews government has indicated it plans to decriminalise public drunkenness, but has been waiting on the outcome of this inquest before taking further action.
Her family wants it to happen as soon as possible.
Until that day that is reformed, then Aboriginal people are still at risk of dying in a police cell.
Victoria Police is yet to respond to the findings. Nicole Strawn for 10 News First.
Police have boarded the Ruby Princess and seized evidence, including the ship's black box data recorder. Officers wore layers of protective clothing and gas masks when they went aboard last night. The black box may hold copies of communications the ship's officers had with their shore teams. The ship is at the centre of a criminal investigation into whether operators downplayed the number of COVID-19 cases on board before docking in Sydney last month. The first flight from Wuhan landed in Sydney last night after tough travel restrictions were lifted in and out of the city where the coronavirus pandemic all started. The cargo plane, operated by Chinese carrier Supana Airlines, was carrying 90 tonnes of much-needed medical supplies, including protective masks, gowns and ventilators. The crew did not have to quarantine in Australia for 2 weeks, but did self-isolate until their flight out this afternoon. Well, let's head up to the traffic helicopter now with Jess Miller.
Thank you, Jen. Over the Tullamarine Freeway in the Lexus of Brighton traffic chopper. Having a look at a nasty incident. It happened earlier this Arvo. A car carrying another car on a trailer hit the barrier. This is city-bound, just near the Ring Road exit. No one is hurt, which is great news. Vic Roads have closed off the left-hand lane to allow the tow truck to load up. Not too much traffic through here, so no major delays building. And it looks like the tow is nearly done, so she'll be out of the way shortly. Jen?
Thank you, Jess. And ahead in 10 News First, it's Trump versus Biden as Bernie Sanders decides to pull out of the race for the White House. And Boris on the mend as the virus takes a terrible toll on his nation.
And it's been an awesome autumn's day. Politicians hoping for a specific style of weather this Easter, and they've got it. I'll explain shortly.
While we're all parked for a while, Lexus isn't. We're still anticipating your needs. So if your Lexus needs a service, we'll pick it up, deliver you a loan car, and return yours thoroughly cleaned inside and out.
I think I tasted some of the best food Australia has to offer.
That is unbelievable.
Amazing.
I love it.
You're in for a treat, Melbourne.
We're in for one of the best seasons in the history of this competition.
MasterChef starts Easter Monday.
Busy kids have energy to burn. If you want to be sure they're getting the nutrients they need to grow and thrive, shake it up with Pediasure. A delicious Pediasure health shake contains 28 essential vitamins and minerals, plus protein, pre and probiotic and omega-3, which may help support growth, immunity and a healthy appetite. Make it, shake it, love it. Kids thrive with Pediasure.
Not all frontline staff work in hospitals. Supermarket workers are doing their very best in very difficult times. They're trying to do the right thing by all customers. Please be patient. Please be respectful. No one deserves a serve.
Pocket watch. Nobody's got time for that.
This Saturday with Sportsbet for races 1 to 5. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
Enjoy your day.
New Mitsubishi ASX, built to pack life in.
Right now at Target, get 20% off toys from these big brands like Lego, Nerf, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Now on at Target. Offer ends April 26 in selected stores and online. Conditions apply.
Entertaining this weekend? Control the seasons and live life your way with Luva House.
Order this month and receive LED lighting absolutely free. But hurry, this offer won't last. Luva House.
This guy's my best friend. I'd like to find that in a partner too. That's why I trust eHarmony.
No one can connect you with high-quality singles like eHarmony. That's why every 14 minutes, someone finds love on eHarmony. Start free today.
Group 1 racing is at its best on day 2 of the championships. Get 10 bet returns this Saturday to use on any track, any race. So if your horse runs second or third, get your bet returned in bonus bets. Bet easy. Raise your game.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, there's still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums. Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
JB's got the hottest deals to keep you connected. Like $200 off the latest Samsung Galaxy S25 phone. This Acer 3 laptop for $11.99. And 40% off Sony headphones. Buy in-store, online, click and collect, or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
Ambulance Australia, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Welcome back. Former US Vice President Joe Biden will take on Donald Trump for the White House after Bernie Sanders ended his campaign. Sanders said he couldn't go on in good conscience in the midst of the pandemic.
He may have won the battle of ideas, but Bernie Sanders couldn't win the votes. And today, the former frontrunner, not wanting to be a distraction during coronavirus, dropped out of the presidential race.
If I believed we had a feasible path to the nomination, I would certainly continue the campaign. But it's just not there.
Leaving Joe Biden as the presumptive Democratic nominee.
He didn't just run a political campaign, he created a movement.
The former vice president leads the current president in national polls, but Donald Trump's handling of the pandemic has his approval ratings up.
We're getting closer, you see the numbers, we're getting much closer to getting our country back to the way it was.
Someone not so approving, the head of the World Health Organization after Trump's threats to pull funding.
If you don't want many more body bags, then you refrain from politicizing it.
The body bags continue to pile up in New York, with 779 dead overnight, a new record. And New York State now has more infections than any other country outside the US. Flags flew at half-mast. But hospitalisations are slowing, and new modelling predicts the virus will kill 60,000 Americans, down from 90,000.
If we stop what we are doing, you will see that curve change.
Though frontline staff care little about statistics right now.
My family is my life, so it is extremely difficult to be away from them and then to not know if I'm bringing them, exposing them to something.
As the number of infections in America edges close to 500,000. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, New York.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is said to be sitting up in bed and engaging positively with medics after another night in intensive care with the coronavirus. But as his condition improves, it just gets worse for the UK.
As the man leading Britain's coronavirus response finishes his third night in intensive care,
Good, okay, you're getting stronger.
his country is reeling from a 24-hour death toll on par with Italy and Spain's worst days.
It's the personal course of what's happening to patients, which is just devastating sometimes.
In London, a field hospital built in 9 days has just started taking patients, taking some pressure off ICU wards where ambulance vans just keep coming. And nearly every patient has COVID-19.
I have felt times where my body has been willing to just give up completely.
Government ministers and their medical advisors are at pains to point out the UK's infection curve is flattening, but right now it's hard to be optimistic, especially as Brits are told to prepare for the nationwide lockdown to extend until the end of the month.
Hello, Harris.
Hi, Harris.
The Royals are doing their best to boost morale. William and Keyte surprising a school for the children of frontline workers.
A huge thank you to you guys and well done in keeping it all going.
They're doing an amazing job.
While political leaders launch a stay-at-home for Easter campaign.
Well, please, you've got to stick with it. Don't let up now.
As the country waits and hopes for better days to return. Gillian Bowen for 10 News First.
And now here's Mike with a look ahead to the Easter weather.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Good evening. What a lovely day it's been today. Blue skies, light winds, the low 20s across Melbourne. You really couldn't complain about today's weather. It is hard, though, to get in that festive feeling. Now it is Easter. Now, Victorian politicians were hoping the weather was going to be lousy, so Melburnians and Victorians would stay at home. Well, to a degree, they've got their wish. Tomorrow, though, actually looking good. 12 to 23 and mainly sunny, especially in the morning. And then Saturday, yeah, it does go pear-shaped. A cold front blowing up icy air, just 15 degrees with rain and thunderstorms, snow on the edge of town, some hail, 15 to 30 millimetres of rain in Melbourne's outer east. And then rug up Sunday looking for Easter eggs, 11 to just 16, cloudy but mostly dry, and down to just 9 degrees Monday morning. And we've got more on your weather with some, well, interesting Mike's picks a little bit later in the news. Jen?
Thank you, Mike. Still to come, we'll have an update on the financial markets. And challenge accepted. Legacy launches an Anzac biscuit bake-off that you can really sink your teeth into.
TV's better. Watch together.
Hooray!
So share your lockdown with the Goggle Boxes.
I am, you are, in isolation, in isolation.
Oh, that was nice.
Ready for any challenge. Battery power, made by Still. Only from your local Still dealer.
Find a girl, treat her right, stay awake, laugh on.
The world has changed as we all know it. We can't do the things we love, with the people we love, in the places we love. So until we can all get back out on the road, please stay in and stay safe.
Happy Easter! 2 MS Dream Home Lottery Grand Prize winners will each get to choose a $1.5 million home or $1.5 million in gold for a nice little nest egg. Get your tickets today.
What do I need to start banking online?
With Westpac, it's so simple. Just have your bank details handy, answer a few security questions, set up a password and enter your contact details. Search Westpac Register.
Don't let this great offer pass you by. Get paid the best tote price on all Exactas, Quinellas, Trifectas, First Fours and Quaddies every Saturday in Melbourne and Sydney this autumn carnival. Bet easy. Raise your game.
Right now at Target, get 20% off toys from these big brands like Lego, Nerf, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Now on at Target. Offer ends April 26 in selected stores and online. Conditions apply.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Palmy on Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Save up to 10% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz home insurance policy online.
Okay, done.
Get that Allianz feeling. Search for a quote today.
An important message from the Victorian Government about coronavirus. Stage 3 restrictions are now in place. That means there are only 4 reasons to be out: shopping for food and supplies that you need, exercise, medical care and caregiving, and work and education if necessary. Stay home, protect our health system, save lives. Victorian Government, managing this together.
Hey, did you know you can get crunchy chips from the microwave in 4 minutes?
How'd you know that?
I read it on the box. I always bring something to read at the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, just finished A Tale of Two Chippies. One crinkle cut, one shoestring in a story of forbidden love.
I'm gonna spoilers. Microwave chips with maximum crunch.
Golden Crunch. Bird's eye.
I love it. I love it.
You will love it too. MasterChef, Easter Monday.
Almost 7 million Australians, if they haven't already, will receive hundreds of dollars in cash from the federal government, and we are already seeing the effects of that $750 stimulus payment filter through the economy. So what are we spending it on? Well, the big and the concerning one is online gambling. In the last week, that's gone up by 67%. Alcohol and tobacco has also received a boost in spending. We've gone up by about a third there. Now, with all the gyms closed, it's little surprise that spending on our fitness has almost evaporated, and with planes grounded and many working from home, travel and public transport is also down 78%. While money spent on education and cafes has also dried up, it's declined by more than 40%. But people staying inside has seen a surge in other areas. People are treating their pets, that's gone up by 28%, and avoiding the shops and getting food delivered has gone up by 63%. We're also taking the time to get those jobs done around the house, a 64% increase in spending on home improvements, so we will be expecting it to look beautiful by the end of this. Well, let's take a look at the market. That looked a little bit beautiful as well. It closed at a 4-week high, up 3.5% to end the shortened trade week. All sectors lifted, and the banks, which took a big hit yesterday, rallied. ANZ in particular seeing a positive 6.5% change. Industrials had a good day too, Transurban leading the charge, up by more than 11%. Taking a look at the dollar now, it is down slightly against the majors, but it's buying just under 62 US cents and about 50 British pence.
Charlotte Goodlett reporting there. Scott Morrison's $130 billion wages bailout has passed through the federal parliament. The job now is to get it into people's pockets as quickly as possible. Here's our political editor, Peter Van Onselen.
As most Australians turned in for the night, history was being made in the Senate.
I move that the bill be now read a third time.
Today I visited the two ministers responsible for ensuring Australia's biggest ever bailout gets the job done. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg and Finance Minister Matthias Cormann.
The $130 billion price tag is like nothing this country's ever seen. It will take years to pay back, but it's also absolutely necessary.
I mean, it is all about helping as many businesses remain in business as possible and getting as many Australians safely to the other side in their job.
And as John Howard said to me, when there is an economic crisis, ideological constraints go out the door. And so we have taken that advice and we are delivering to the Australian people at their time of need.
If we had not done the work over the last 6.5 years to fix up the budget, we would have gone into this crisis in a much weaker position.
This is all about building the bridge to the recovery, and the JobKeeper payment is that economic bridge.
I mean, we've had 750,000 businesses that have already registered their interest to participate. I mean, about 6 million Australians will end up taking part in this program. I mean, that is nearly half the working population.
An enormous amount of money is going out across the economy. Already we're seeing those $750 payments to pensioners and carers and people with a Commonwealth Seniors Health Card, or indeed people on family tax benefits. They're all benefiting from the government spending during this period.
There's little doubt that implementing the $130 billion JobKeepers package will be complex. Kevin Rudd and Wayne Swan were praised for their stimulus spending during the GFC. That is, until some of the money was squandered. The implementation of this is going to be crucial, isn't it?
Well, the policy development is one thing, but the delivery and the implementation is another, and that's where our focus is from here on.
Peter Van Onselen, from a safe social distance, for 10 News First.
Well, let's take another look at the traffic now. It's back up to Jess Miller.
Thank you, Jen. Checking up on the Ring Road in the Lexus of Brighton traffic chopper this time. This is on the lead up to the Hume Freeway. Green through round traffic starting to pick up, but still flowing, as you can see. On Tona bound, there's a little less as we look further down towards Sydney Road, and Sydney Road itself looking great. But the opposite end of town, Lyndhurst, there's been a collision just a few minutes ago. That's the Western Port Highway northbound at Thompsons Road. We have a few lanes out of action through there and emergency services loading up. Jen?
Thank you, Jess. Now here's Stephen with Thursday Sport, and the world's top golfers facing a bit of a dilemma.
Yes, they are, Jen. Many may give the Olympics the flick because of the heavy schedule, but we speak to one star who definitely wants to go to Tokyo. We find out how the Blues co-captain is coping. Was Mick Malthouse really that mad? And riding the crest of a wave during home isolation.
While we're all parked for a while, Lexus isn't. We're still anticipating your needs. So if your Lexus needs a service, We'll pick it up, deliver you a loan car, and return yours thoroughly cleaned inside and out.
Comedian Ross Noble crosses to us from his self-ISO bunker.
Why am I coming back? I want to prove a point. I've learned a lot, my skills have improved, I'm here to take it out. I'm just an Aussie bloke who loves to cook good food, and I like to think I know what I'm doing, and I like to think I could win.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Have a good one, mate. Oh, and have you told Tim he's not invited to your wedding?
Okay, bye.
What? Wedding?
I don't want you to take this personally, but, you know, my sister's going to be there. I know you didn't mean to spill Nat's ashes into the pool, mate. Mum was cleaning out that pool filter for weeks.
Really?
Granddad's terrified of the pool now, so it's probably best you sit this one out.
That makes total sense.
Good on you, mate.
Handle any situation in a Ranger FX4.
Created just for Easter from the finest Lindt chocolate with its own special bell. The Lindt Gold Bunny is back in store, but you'll have to be quick to catch him.
Get AHM hospital cover from only $15.75 a week. Yay. It's that easy, so you can get back to doing whatever it is you like to do. Even that. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Right now at Target, get 20% off toys from these big brands like Lego, Nerf, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Now on at Target. Offer ends April 26 in selected stores and online. Conditions apply.
An important message from the Victorian Government about coronavirus. Stage 3 restrictions are now in place. That means there are only 4 reasons to be out: shopping for food and supplies that you need, exercise, medical care and caregiving, and work and education if necessary. Stay home, protect our health system, save lives. Victorian Government, managing this together.
Pocket watch. Nobody's got time for that.
This Saturday with Sportsbet for races 1 to 5. Finish second or third and get up to $50 back in bonus bets.
Enjoy your day.
Today, parents face constant judgment. But none of that matters. Because when your baby is happy and healthy, you know your way is the right way. So you can feel as comfortable in your skin as your baby's skin feels in Huggies nappies.
It must be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less.
Huggies. Be comfortable in your skin.
At Spotlight, Easter's what you make it. So decorate it, celebrate it and create it for less. With 40 to 50% off all ready-to-hang indoor roller blinds and 30 to 40% off all ready-to-hang curtains. Shop in-store or online. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Share your lockdown with the Goggle Boxes.
Hooray! I love this show. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Tonight on 10.
Tonight's Sport Report is brought to you by the Ford Ranger FX4. Ready to handle any situation.
Good evening. The AFL will be a very different place if and when it restarts season 2020. Geelong Chief Executive Brian Cook says clubs and players will have to operate in a vastly downscaled football economy.
After 30 years, Brian Cook is the AFL's longest-serving and most successful CEO. He and others are working on the football recovery.
I'm in the group that's been led by Xavier Campbell from Essendon around football structures, football department costs into the future. So there's about 5 of us in that, mostly old-timers.
The AFL's economy has been ravaged. Most clubs will carry over huge debts.
There's no revenues coming in. It means that clubs will have most clubs will have debts to pay off, and they will need to pay those debts off pretty quickly. And whilst they do that, they can't run with a huge expenditure level.
He predicts football clubs will halve their number of employees and get more flexible.
So in our club we have 135 full-timers. That may change to being 60 or 70 or 80 full-timers and the rest part-time or consultants.
Cook says players' wages will have to come down. Just how much of a hit will depend on what happens with the TV money.
Yeah, I think the players will have to adjust from a remuneration point of view. More than anything, I think in terms of what will be demanded from them, it will be much the same.
Even with contracts in place, there is no guarantee the AFL will receive the same TV rights money next year. Advertising revenues across all media have been slashed, and the league's two broadcasters, Fox Sports and Channel 7, are both struggling financially.
Oh, absolutely. Every level will be affected.
In terms of preparing for a return, Melbourne is one club wanting its players back in a few weeks.
We've still got the eye on May the 4th as an opportunity to come back. We're really periodising our training. The players are doing a great job, and there's a lot of trust that they'll come back in some really good shape.
A July restart is shaping as a popular best-case scenario.
My best guess is maybe July.
Rob Waters for 10 News First.
Irishman Conor McKenna has made it clear his days at the Bombers are numbered. In an interview with the BBC, the dashing defender declared he would return home in the next few years and even suggested his AFL career could end as soon as this season. McKenna explained his reason for leaving Essendon is so he can pursue his childhood dream of playing Gaelic football. Now it's time to unleash 10 News First's new footy recruit, and he's brought along the Carlton captain and an insight into Mick Malthouse.
So here's the brief. They want someone who's played the game, someone who's different and quirky, and someone the players actually like. Something like the QNs in Darwin. There is old mate. And I guess he's keen. He's real keen. Bugger it. We'll give him a chance. Hey, Dill! Yeah. You're on, son.
Just grab the ball one hand. Gives an opportunity here. Buckley.
Dylan Buckley.
Fantastic.
Well, Dill, great to have you on 10, and I must say at the moment, even standing here, there's no pine, but standing on the sidelines feels pretty good, doesn't it?
Sure does, mate. I'm used to it, especially on the sidelines. It's great to be here. Dill on 10, I'm very excited.
Morning, biggest shoe. That's your biggest shoe. Coaches, the male again, 11 down to 5. You're in the system last year. 11 coaches is a lot. Can you talk me through a day and how many meetings you would have and what some of these coaches were actually doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think they know, to be honest. There's a lot of coaches on AFL lists. Look, I think that's not a massive deal, to be honest. I don't think you need as many coaches as some clubs have. But maybe it might simplify the game a bit more.
Can you highlight a couple of things that you had in your career that you probably didn't need that might go as footy gets stripped back?
Well, I don't know if they'll go, but meetings about meetings, hopefully they can go. I know the boys aren't massive fans about them.
I know you've got plenty of mates and we hear them on the podcast, and I understand one's just circling around now, so you better go find him.
I'll get him. And I've got my mate Sammy Doherty here. Sammy, it's good to see you, mate. 937 days out of the game. You come back, crowd of zero, now coronavirus in. How are you feeling?
Going okay. It's definitely been an adjustment. We did a 5-month pre-season for one game. To get one game was great. If I didn't get that game, I probably would have approached 1,000 days out of the game, which would have been pretty flattening.
And what you feeling, mate? What's the club saying? Do you reckon the games will get back soon? Are you a fan of the hub?
The hub's an interesting idea. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work. But I definitely think that we just need to do anything we can to get footy back.
And on brighter terms, mate, you tied the knot over the summer. Fantastic wedding. I was lucky enough to be a part of that. Made the front page of the Herald Sun for some other reasons. What do you have to say?
Yeah, look, not ideal. Personally, to read when I woke up in the paper and it's one of my wonderful wedding photos planted on the front page wasn't ideal. But I understood that it was in the middle of pre-season. It was a hell of a lot to talk about.
Sammy, Dill on 10, mate. First episode in the memory bank. Congratulations.
Thanks, mate. It's a real honour to be another one of your first episodes.
Tell me something, boy.
This is where you tell us something that we just wouldn't know. We've been on the other side of the fence. You've been in league footy. And what I want to know this week is about Mick Malthouse. He petrified us as a media, especially if you wanted to know the team. He would point at you and jump down your throat. He had a thing about letting the media know about the teams. What was it like as a player?
As immediate, mate, he was nearly as bad as a player. I absolutely love Mick. Probably my favourite coach I ever had, and played a lot of footy under him. But each week I had to watch a footy show to know if I was playing or not. And even then, running out, I was still worried I was going to get a tap on the shoulder to say, sorry son, not this week.
Was he mad?
No, he's a good man.
That was Dill on 10. I loved it. We'll get even weirder and even more polished next week. But great having you on board.
I'm looking forward to it, mate.
There we go, Dill on 10. Even more on Facebook.
Thank you, fellas. Well, as the NRL tries to relaunch on May 28, it has suffered a major public falling out with its TV broadcast rights holder. The Nine Network has accused the league of gross mismanagement and wasting millions of dollars. Here's Emma Lawrence with a response from the game's boss.
Yes, thank you very much. I've got the chairman of the commission, Peter V'landys, with me. Peter, they said July 1 was ambitious, but you've got May 28. You must be stoked.
Look, we're over the moon because we want a roadmap, and in order to do the roadmap, we need a commencement date. And the 28th of May is very achievable. It's ambitious, but achievable. And you know, the infection rate has gone down from 22% down to 1.43% here in New South Wales. And our two main criteria are that we're safe for the community and we're safe for the players. And I think by the time we start, we'll meet those criteria.
Still need to work out how many rounds we're going to be playing across the season and whether or not they'll purely be based in Sydney. But is it safe to assume this bubble idea is now out the window and players can come home to their families?
Absolutely. Look, we trust our players, and as long as they continue to, you know, meet the social measures that have been put in place, the social distances, etc., and they don't interact with the community, I think there's little risk, and we'll have the harshest biosecurity measures at the venues where they train and where they play, so the risk will be minimal. And by the time we start on the 28th of May, you know, the infection rate should be a lot lower because the governments have done a great job in bringing it down so much in such a short period of time.
Slight hiccup with the negotiations today, but we got there eventually with Channel 9 coming out having a few harsh words. Are you confident you do have the full support of your broadcasters?
Look, I'm confident we'll come to a deal with our broadcasters. They've been good partners and they'll continue to be good partners. And as I said, if we walk away that we both think we're both unhappy, that means we've done a good deal. So I'm very, very pleased with, you know, the way things are progressing, and I'm sure the broadcasters will see our view.
Well, you guys have done a tremendous job on the commission. Peter V'landys, really appreciate your time, and we all cannot wait for the footy to begin in 7 weeks' time.
Emma Lawrence reporting. Well, the Olympics could be a casualty in golf's new crowded calendar, with pros now scheduled to play 7 majors in 12 months. Mark Leishman feels some players may choose rest and recovery over Tokyo, but the world number 15 certainly won't be one of them.
Back when live sport was a regular thing, Mark Leishman was in the sort of form that had him feeling ready to contend if the Masters had gone ahead this week.
Down Leishman with a huge 4 at 11.
But now instead of fighting for a green jacket, he's battling boredom.
Hard not to just go to the fridge and, you know, grab a snack or a beer or whatever. So trying to keep that under control too.
Without golf to put the fire in his belly, the Victorian's instead taken the torch to his pride and joy, the lawn.
So I didn't do the front, so I didn't want to look too crazy. But so I cut it down, and there was about 100 garbage bags of grass that I had to cart away. From the back, there was none because I burned it.
Still living in the USA, Leishman is in the heart of the coronavirus crisis, and his Begin Again Foundation is doing their bit to help out, delivering food to hospitals in Virginia Beach and providing masks to local supermarket workers.
So just little things that maybe can help people's lives or reduce a bit of stress, or nothing huge, but we're doing what we can.
The PGA Tour is planning to return in May.
To get back to 2 in front.
Yes. Then will come a major squeeze that could stop some from backing up at the Tokyo Olympics.
Yes, that there is a possibility of that, but not for me. If I'm on the team, I'll be there, definitely.
The Warrnambool product is also committed to the Australian Open, despite the congested calendar.
It is going to be tight. I mean, I'll do everything I can to get back, yes, particularly with it being in Melbourne.
Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
Jockey Adam Hieronymus will be out to continue his good form on Saturday on day 2 of the championships at Royal Randwick. The 29-year-old features in 6 races, including the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, but sees his best shot shout the bar in the Australian Oaks after the filly gave him his maiden Group 1 win a fortnight ago.
I'm very confident with She at the bar. She just keeps progressing and she seems to be getting stronger with each run she has. She relaxes as well. She can run the distance out, no worries.
The man they call Hippo will also ride Positive Peace, one of the favourites in the Coolmore legacy. With beaches closing around the world, we're amped to show you these swell entries into the World Surf League's Home Break Challenge. In many cases, skateboards have replaced surfboards and they've created some genius ways to ride a barrel.
That was ridiculous. I might even throw that into the redonkulous category. I mean, absolutely amazing.
This is kind of the event that you would like to have pretty much every time, right?
To have Carissa in the final, it's a dream for me.
For all the gnarly creations, it's 10 points from the judges and they can surf away with our play of the day. That is very clever work, Jen.
Very creative indeed. Thank you, Stephen. Coming up, Mike's back with the weather as we look ahead to the Easter long weekend.
We check in on Kate Langbrook's isolation in Italy, 6:30.
I think I tasted some of the best food Australia has to offer. Mind-blowing.
That is flawless.
We're in for one of the best seasons in the history of this competition.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Have a good one, mate. Oh, and have you told Tim he's not invited to your wedding?
Okay, bye.
What? Wedding?
I don't want you to take this personally, but, you know, my sister's going to be there. I know you didn't mean to spill Nat's ashes into the pool, mate. Mum was cleaning out that pool filter for weeks.
Really?
Granddad's terrified of the pool now, so it's probably best you sit this one out.
That makes total sense.
Good on you, mate.
Handle any situation in a Ranger FX4.
When a cold disturbs your family's sleep, Vicks Vapor Rub relieves cough, nasal congestion, muscle aches and pains. They sleep, you sleep. Vicks Vapor Rub relieves 4 cough and cold symptoms.
Each cup of Nescafe Gold starts with our high-quality golden roasted coffee beans. Always deliciously rich and smooth, no matter how you enjoy yours. Nescafe Gold. Taste beyond compare.
Being family-owned, all Mackenzie aged care facilities start with us.
At Mackenzie, it's all about choice. You can try our Respite Aged Care for less than $53 per day.
At Mackenzie Aged Care, it all starts with people.
Pork! Pork!
When you reach for pork roast, who knows where you'll end up? Get some pork on your fork.
Huddling at home? Try Domino's new Chicken Parmesan Deep Pan. With 22 succulent chicken pieces and crispy rasher bacon from just $15 delivered. Order now with total peace of mind thanks to zero contact delivery from Domino's.
Anaconda's massive 20 to 50% off store-wide sale is on now. Huge savings on camping gear, bikes, kayaks, fishing gear, clothing, footwear and more. Some exclusions apply. 20 to 50% off sale on now at Anaconda.
Hey, Mom! You've wanted me forever. Carefully taking your special Forever Mom vitamins, and you created me! I love you forever, Mum.
And I love you forever, Mum.
At Harvey Norman, our spacious stores are open this Easter, with our team practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Shop for fridges, freezers, washers, air purifiers, laptops, Wi-Fi, headphones, home office accessories, mattresses and sofa beds. Until Easter Monday only, take advantage of 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. Visit us in-store or shop online from home, with both click and collect and delivery available at Harvey Norman. Wishing you all a happy and safe Easter.
Go! Ambulance Australia, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Welcome back. Here's Mike with your Easter weather.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Good evening once again. Lovely and sunny and 21 degrees today. Tomorrow, not a good Friday, not a great Friday. It's the CV. And then Saturday, just forget about it. Just roll over, just stay in bed. Just stay in bed on Saturday. It's going to be very, very average weather. Okay, a couple of fun photos now that have been sent to Mike's Picks at network10.com.au. And when putting out the bin is the highlight of your day, you get dressed up as you do it. Playing dress up, there's Joel, his 2 children Chase and baby Poppy, and they call themselves Binosauruses, or perhaps to their neighbours, do you think you saw us? You can see that bin in the middle of those photos. And last night, a supermoon adding light to the night sky. This pic from Julie Vine in Mount Waverley. The moon nearly 630,000 k's away. That's how close it was. 9 degrees meant it was a cooler start to your day. 21 degrees for a lovely Thursday afternoon. Outside right now, it is very pleasant. 20 degrees, the humidity at the halfway mark. Around Melbourne today, temperatures were slightly up on the average for most areas, mainly between 20 and 23 degrees. Across our state, and apart from cloud building up along the Murray, it's been sunny. Temperatures slightly above the average in many centres. 24 today's top, no rain today. Around the country, for the kids on holidays, did you know that taller people sleep longer in bed? Yeah. Over in Perth, continuing to ignore its autumn with more summer-like weather. 34 there today, they've got 36 tomorrow, 37 on Saturday. Meanwhile, 21 degrees in Canberra, a degree either side in Adelaide and Hobart. The weather charts, a large high moving eastwards, will give us a slightly warmer day tomorrow. And then, well, it may as well be a wintry day on Saturday. A cold front digging deep will drag a polar bear air. Out with the brolly, out with the beanie for your exercise with a friend, or is it exercise, considering it's Easter. The rainfall chart Saturday will be soggy, especially east of Melbourne. Snow down to 1,300 metres. Victorian Tassie, second weekend in a row in April it's snowing. And it's going to be very cold on Sunday. The Easter Bunny should throw on a scarf and perhaps a bunny rug. Over to Sydney tomorrow, 22 degrees, 5 to 10 mils of rain, 26 on Saturday. Brisbane, 27 degrees. Hobart becoming wet and windy, 22 tomorrow, but just 14 degrees on Saturday. Across our state tomorrow, when we say thank good it's Friday, morning fogs. Isolated showers in the north and the east, only day you can say it really. Mainly sunny in the morning, clouding in the afternoon. Scattered showers developing in the southwest later on. Temperatures are lovely. The radar, some rain clouds up in the New South Wales area, spilling down over the border around Yarrawonga and Wodonga. Around Melbourne, early fogs and a rather nice day. 23 in Geelong, maybe a shower there. Frankston, 23 also. Latrobe Valley further east. On the bays, northerly winds at 15 knots, turning northwesterly to 25. The sun setting a minute after 6. So for Melbourne itself, lovely tonight for catching up with people you live with, perhaps a virtual drink online with friends. Yeah, I think Zoom getting a big workout. Tomorrow, 23, 12 to 23, a mainly sunny morning, a partly cloudy afternoon, a possible shower late afternoon, but proper showers well after dark, probably after midnight, northwesterly winds to 30 k's. And then Saturday, wintry. 12 to only 15, cold, wet and windy in the west up to 5 mils, eastern suburbs 5 to 15, outer west of the Yarra Ranges 15 to 30, Easter Sunday, rug up for your Easter egg hunt, don't worry, be hoppy, 11 to 16 and grey, possibly some showers in the east, Monday 18 and then it warms up 24, 25, 20 on Wednesday, but tomorrow 12 to 23 degrees.
Tonight's top stories, the PM's special Easter message as the nation gets some positive news on the fight against coronavirus. Calls to blockade our favourite holiday hotspots as rural and coastal communities tell visitors to stay away. And the desperate search for a mystery mother after a newborn baby's remains were found on a bayside beach. There are calls for some of Victoria's favourite holiday hotspots to be blockaded by police to keep tourists and coronavirus out this Easter long weekend. Coastal communities want the Great Ocean Road to be shut down, saying visitors are not welcome.
A stunning day on the surf coast, but where local hospitality is concerned, the tide is out.
I'd certainly be keen for them not to come down.
I know it's lovely here and we have it to ourselves. We love it that way. No, but I think seriously, stay home.
The local senator wants police roadblocks to keep Easter travellers out.
But a roadblock would make a difference. It would mean that they could stop anyone travelling down the Great Ocean Road, check that it was for a legitimate reason, and then, of course, fine anyone and turn them around.
Back in Melbourne, police ruled that out.
Putting up roadblocks, it's not what the Chief Health Officer has asked us.
But that doesn't mean lockdown rules won't be enforced.
Don't be travelling from Melbourne to Lawn to surf. That's inappropriate. If you're in that local region, you can, if the beach is open and the council is allowing it, do that.
In the past day, police have fined another 78 people for breaching the rules.
That when they're giving out those infringements, it's for three types. It's deliberate, it's blatant and it's obvious.
But surprisingly for police, quiet roads has not translated to safer roads. The state's road toll for the year to date is 76. The average for the past 5 years was 71. So the mass exodus from the roads due to coronavirus has seemingly done little to curb the amount of deaths on the state's roads.
We've had 18 deaths since the state of emergency was declared.
Yet another reason, if one were needed, to do the right thing.
Just stay home like everyone else.
Simon Love for 10 News First.
The Prime Minister has delivered a powerful Easter message, reassuring us all that not even the coronavirus will steal the spirit of this long weekend.
The coronavirus means this Easter will be different and we will be staying at home. And it's important because we cannot undo the tremendous progress we have made together in recent times. So this Easter we are staying at home. Don't travel, don't go away. For Christians, not being able to gather does not diminish the hope that we have through this important Easter period. This year, we will live out our faith by doing the right thing. That means staying at home, making sure we're checking on our neighbours and supporting our communities and families, our friends. That's what living our faith is all about. So as we go into this Easter long weekend, whatever your religious views might be, I do wish you a happy Easter, Australia.
Australia has recorded another death, but we are making some good inroads on the rate of infection. There are just over 6,100 confirmed cases across the country. New South Wales tops the list again for the most number of new cases with 39. But overall, there are slightly fewer new infections compared with this time yesterday. And that means that we're flattening the curve and social distancing is working.
In the nation's gruelling fight against COVID-19,
the curve continues to flatten.
The Health Minister says we're winning.
This is the first time in over 3 weeks that fewer than 100 people have been added to the list of those with coronavirus.
The number of confirmed cases, lives lost and hospital admissions all tracking the right way.
All of those numbers are down from where they have been at their peak. That's an exceptionally important development for Australia.
We've also arranged flights to bring stranded Australians home.
To Peru, Argentina and South Africa. Those planned Qantas flights which are anticipated to take place over the next week.
Initially from 3 countries, but possibly more to come.
The lack of support and regard that we've been given only up until recently.
But those who are still overseas are being reminded not to rely on the government's help in getting back.
If you want to come home now by whatever means possible.
One of the nation's top doctors has assured we now have enough ventilators to cope with an influx of cases, with a target of 7,500, nearly triple the number before the pandemic. And the government says we're also making gains in addressing the shortage of qualified staff to operate them.
We have had over 12,000 registered nurses enrol in our online upskilling to enable them to manage critically unwell patients.
Modelling based on Australian figures to be released in the coming weeks could be more good news.
That will be one of the contextual elements that allows us to determine which restrictions to lift and in what order to do so.
But
we've got a long way to go.
And this Easter weekend could determine how quickly life returns to normal.
The virus does not take a holiday. Therefore, none of us can relax in what we do.
The only relaxing should be at home. Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
To other news now, and police are searching for a mother after the body of a baby was found on a Bayside beach. The remains of the newborn girl were discovered by a passerby. She's thought to have died in the past 3 to 10 days, but it's not clear whether she was born on the beach. Detectives hold serious concerns for the health and welfare of the baby's mother and have urged her to come forward. Body cameras have captured the heart-stopping moment police rescued a young boy from his burning home. The 8-year-old has made a full recovery. The officers have been praised as heroes.
A house alight, a young child trapped inside.
We've got a child inside the house, apparently.
Police rush towards the inferno.
Get back! Whereabouts? Get run! Move!
Desperately, they search for the 8-year-old who succumbed to the smoke. Time is running out as the flames take hold.
Ward 201, there's a child inside, heavy smoke. Where? Liam, call out! Liam, call out!
The officers can't wait for firefighters to arrive.
Man, they're volleys, they're going to take a while.
Finally, Liam is found and pulled to safety.
Get him, get him, get him, get him. Move! Hey, out! Got him, I got him. We got the point.
He's given CPR and revived, taken to hospital with severe burns, flown to Perth for treatment, and in the 2 weeks since the fire has made a full recovery. The officers praised as heroes of their community.
Tremendous examples of police doing their duty. That's what the public expect, that's certainly what I expect.
Alexandra Ristway for 10 News First.
Well, let's take a look at the traffic now. Jess Miller is high over Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Jen, thank you. Over the city, just taking in the view for you in the Lexus Right Traffic Chopper. It is looking pretty in terms of traffic in the city, all moving well, no incidents or accidents to report. But if we look towards Kingsway, we can see that outbound there is a fair bit of traffic, remains heavy on Queen's Road right through to Albert Park. We did have a minor bingle on St Kilda Road outbound at Queen's Road. The good news is the tow truck has loaded that up, taken it away, so no dramas through the junction. Jen?
Thank you, Jess. Well, Stephen's back now with sport.
Thank you, Jen. What will football look like post-coronavirus? Fremantle's rookie coach faces his toughest audience. The NRL under the pump. And should I stay or should I go? The Olympic dilemma facing the world's best golfers.
While we're all parked for a while, Lexus isn't. We're still anticipating your needs. So if your Lexus needs a service, we'll pick it up, deliver you a loan car, and return yours thoroughly cleaned inside and out.
Tonight, the easiest way to save a life this Easter long weekend. Plus, how disrupted Year 12s can still get into uni. See you tonight at 6:30.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
4 days to go.
Craving fresh? Get free delivery with Subway on Uber Eats. Fresh delivered free. As if you didn't need a reason to stay in already. Just use the promo code SUBWAY@home. Subway.
If dry or flaky skin is causing you frustration and embarrassment, try E45 cream. It soothes and relieves by creating an effective barrier to protect against skin dryness. Feel comfortable in your skin. Switch to E45.
Don't let this great offer pass you by. Get paid the best towed price on all Exactas, Quinellas, Trifectas, First Fours and Quaddies every Saturday in Melbourne and Sydney this autumn carnival. Bet easy. Raise your game.
Hey folks, every community is doing it tough, so check on the elderly and only buy what you need. Be kind to our amazing IGA team who are doing all they can, and remember to keep social distancing. Let's look out for each other and we can all get through this together.
At Harvey Norman, our spacious stores are open this Easter with our team practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Shop for fridges, freezers, washers, air purifiers, laptops, Wi-Fi, headphones, home office accessories, mattresses and sofa beds. Until Easter Monday only, take advantage of 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card. Visit us in-store or shop online from home with both click and collect and delivery available at Harvey Norman. Wishing you all a happy and safe Easter.
Go! Happy Easter! 2 MS Dream Home Lottery Grand Prize winners will each get to choose a $1.5 million home or $1.5 million in gold for a nice little nest egg. Get your tickets today. Support your family's immune system health with Nature's Way Vita Gummies. For adults, there's Adult Vita Gummies Immune Support with echinacea, elderberry, vitamin C and zinc to support your immune system to fight illness. For children, there's Kid Smart Vita Gummies Vitamin C plus zinc and cold and flu immune support with elderberry to support healthy immune system function. Support your family's immune system health with Nature's Way Vita Gummies.
It's Tab's 42 days of deals at Randwick and Caulfield this Saturday on races 1 to 6. If your horse runs second or third, get a bonus bet back up to $50. Check the app for more great deals. Tab, long may we play.
Gamble responsibly.
With Ryobi One Plus U equals anything you can imagine. In fact, one battery powers over 100 tools. So One Plus U equals endless possibilities. Grow your collection under $100 each. Available at Bunnings Warehouse.
New Magnum Lux Raspberry Panna Cotta. Indulge in layers of white chocolate, gooey raspberry sauce, and panna cotta ice cream. Magnum Lux. Pleasure has more than one layer.
TV's better. Watch together.
Hooray!
So share your lockdown with the Goggle Boxes.
I am, you are, in isolation, in isolation. Oh, that was nice.
The AFL will be a very different place if and when it restarts season 2020. Geelong Chief Executive Brian Cook says clubs and players will have to operate in vastly downscaled football economies.
For instance, in our club we have 135 full-timers. That may change to being 60 or 70 or 80 full-timers and the rest part-time or consultants.
He says player salaries will have to drop, but the extent of the hit will depend on what happens to the TV rights deal. Melbourne is looking to get its players back to the club within a few weeks.
We've still got the eye on May the 4th as an opportunity to come back. We're really periodising our training. The players are doing a great job, and there's a lot of trust that they'll come back in some really good shape.
Goodwin says Melbourne will support whatever fixture the AFL comes up with so they can get a season up and running. No shying away from talk of finals at Fremantle, with Justin Longmuir confident his team can climb into the top 8 as early as next year. But with COVID-19 forcing the season to a standstill, the new coach won't be making any bold predictions about 2020.
A shortened season, but a long-term approach.
I'd be really confident in making the finals at least next year, but let's hope it's this year.
Freo hasn't tasted finals footy since stumbling to Hawthorn in the 2015 preliminary final. 5 years on, the coaches knew most of the club's talent raw. The outlook for the remainder of the season out of their hands.
It's an interesting one because we don't know how many games we're going to play. We don't know what the final system's going to look like. One thing about this year is it's going to be different like no other.
Longmuir locked away at home but open to being beamed around the state of WA to schools and households, a hugely successful concept recently created by the West Australian Education Department.
Who is your favourite player?
I will tell you as long as you don't tell anyone. At Collingwood, my favourite player was Jeremy Howe because he used to take the biggest screamers. At Fremantle, my favourite player is probably Stephen Hill and Michael Walters. I love how skillful they are, but also I love their bubbly personalities and I love the enthusiasm that they bring to everything they do.
The access online to the kids, the same to his players.
We've actually been doing a lot of this sort of stuff with our players and especially our leadership groups. I went down the park yesterday and saw 2 players training together, having a kick together. That's pretty much all we're allowed to do at the moment.
Never would have this Stockers boss imagined starting his coaching career amidst a pandemic. Lockie Reid for 10 News First.
The NRL has locked in May 28 as the date to restart its 2020 competition. After that, details get a little sketchy. And today the game also copped a verbal backhander from one of its broadcast partners.
Yes, thank you very much. I've got the chairman of the commission, Peter V'landys, with me. Peter, they said July 1 was ambitious, but you've got May 28. You must be stoked.
Look, we're over the moon because we want a roadmap, and in order to do the roadmap, we need a commencement date. And the 28th of May is very achievable. It's ambitious, but achievable. And the infection rate has gone down from 22% down to 1.43% here in New South Wales. And our 2 main criteria are that we're safe for the community and we're safe for the players. And I think by the time we start, we'll meet those criteria.
Still need to work out how many rounds we're going to be playing across the season and whether or not they'll purely be based in Sydney. But is it safe to assume this bubble idea is now out the window and players can come home to their families?
Absolutely. Look, we trust our players, and as long as they continue to
meet the social measures that have been put in place, the social distances, etc., and they don't interact with the community, I think there's little risk, and we'll have the harshest biosecurity measures at the venues where they train and where they play, so the risk will be minimal. And by the time we start on the 28th of May, the infection rate should be a lot lower because the governments have done a great job in bringing it down so much in such a short period of time.
Slight hiccup with the negotiations today, but we got there eventually with Channel 9 coming out having a few harsh words. Are you confident you do have the full support of your broadcasters?
Look, I'm confident we'll come to a deal with our broadcasters. They've been good partners and they'll continue to be good partners. And as I said, if we walk away that we both think we're both unhappy, that means we've done a good deal. So I'm very, very pleased with the way things are progressing, and I'm sure the broadcasters will see our view.
Well, you guys have done a tremendous job on the commission. Peter Volandis, really appreciate your time, and we all cannot wait for the footy to begin in 7 weeks' time.
Mark Leishman believes some players could choose to bypass the Olympics as part of golf's new condensed schedule. With pros set to play 7 majors in 12 months before heading to Tokyo, Leishman thinks some may decide to miss the Games.
Yes, there is a possibility of that, but not for me. If I'm on the team, I'll be there, definitely.
Leishman says he also still plans to return to Melbourne later this year to play the Australian Open despite the heavy schedule. The good news is no one was injured and teams won't be doing repairs all night after the start of the Supercars All-Stars E-Series. Drivers described it as an intense experience, even though they were in the comfort of their own lounge rooms. Panel beaters would have gone on strike if it wasn't a simulation, given there was complete mayhem when drivers hit Monza for race 3. Scott McLaughlin found it almost as much fun as beating the competition in the virtual world.
And I hope everyone at home enjoyed it, because I really think this is going to be cool, and it's a good interim thing that we can do in the meantime while we wait for our real racing again.
McLaughlin won 2 of the 3 races and then sprayed champagne to celebrate from the privacy of his balcony. That's it from me, Jen.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. Mike will be back after the break with the 7-day forecast.
Years ago, Australia fell in love with MasterChef, and a worldwide phenomenon was born.
In the history of this competition, we've never seen such a cluster of talent.
Easter Monday, Australia's delicious new season begins.
That is unbelievable. I love it.
This is what food can do. It connects us. It's emotional.
It begins with the best opening episode in MasterChef history.
We are going to create something really special.
MasterChef starts 7:30 Easter Monday.
Craving fresh? Get free delivery with Subway on Uber Eats. Fresh delivered free. As if you didn't need a reason to stay in already. Just use the promo code SUBWAY@HOME. Subway.
Don't let this great offer pass you by. Get paid the best towed price on all Exactas, Quinellas, Trifectas, First Fours and Quaddies every Saturday in Melbourne and Sydney this autumn carnival. Bet easy. Raise your game.
Little Bella's home with a newfound friend. Luckily, with PinoClean laundry sanitizer, it doesn't matter where that's been. Because unlike detergent alone, which doesn't get rid of all germs, it removes 99.9% of bacteria. It's not clean unless it's PinoClean.
We are Regional Australia.
We are winemakers.
We are coffee roasters.
Fashion designers.
Potters. Bakers.
Shopkeepers.
We're asking for your support because the wine is pouring.
The kiln is firing. And we're open for business.
Because where you shop matters.
Discover how Visa's network connects regional businesses to customers across Australia and the world.
Hey folks, every community is doing it tough, so check on the elderly and only buy what you need. Be kind to our amazing IGA team who are doing all they can, and remember to keep social distancing. Let's look out for each other and we can all get through this together.
What if you're missing information that could affect your child's future? Like important information about meningococcal disease. A rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents. Missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more. Speak to your doctor for more information on meningococcal disease and how you can help protect your family.
At Spotlight, Easter's what you make it. So decorate it, celebrate it, and create it for less. With 40% off all fabrics by the metre, 50% off Singer sewing machines and overlocker, and 30% off all Motivary yarn. Shop in store or online. Sale on now. At Spotlight, it's what you make it.
Keep things light and airy with delicious Smith's Poppables. Thanks for sharing, finally. One pop and you're in love.
Some people have more important things to do than watch racing on a weekend. Some people. Catch every race this autumn with Sky Live Vision. Tab, long may we play.
Gamble responsibly.
While we're all parked for a while, Lexus isn't. We're still committed to anticipating your needs. So we're here for you, because us putting you first and you counting on us is more important now than ever.
I think I tasted some of the best food Australia has to offer.
That is unbelievable.
Amazing.
I love it.
You're in for a treat, Melbourne.
We're in for one of the best seasons in the history of this competition.
MasterChef starts Easter Monday.
With an Anzac Day unlike any other fast approaching, Legacy is hoping the Aussie fighting spirit will unite all of us in the kitchen. They're launching a nationwide campaign to have us cooking up a storm while raising money for families in need.
Legacy is already bracing for some tough conversations with their families as April 25th approaches with no ceremonies allowed.
It's an emotional time for them, and dealing with it is going to...
This time of year. Outside right now, country of ours, Canberra 21 degrees, down to 1,300 metres. The radar, and we've got rain clouds up in New South Wales, 23 degrees, 12 to 23, a mainly sunny morning, a partly cloudy afternoon, showers well after dark. And then Saturday, wintry, 12 to...
Mike, and that's 10 News First for this Friday. Updates through the evening.